In this activity, we continue our problem solving with ratios, proportions, and percents. Let's look at proportional reasoning. Proportional reasoning is the process by which you apply a known ratio to one piece of information to determine a related piece of information. There are two ways to solve it. The first way, we use a ratio, which is a part and a total. We first determine which piece of information represents a part or a total. And then we substitute all the known information into the formula ratio equals part over total. Or you can use the formula ratio times total equals part and find the missing piece of information. Use a variable for the missing piece of information and solve the equation. The second way to solve proportional reasoning is to set up a proportion and cross multiply. So here's an example. Find 1/6 of 72. Well, 1/6 of 72 equals 1/6 times 72. The word of represents a multiplication. So you would have 1/6 times 72 over 1. You have to put the 72, the whole number, over 1 because you can only multiply two fractions. And when you multiply 1/6 times 72 over 1, you get 12. So 1/6 of 72 is equal to 12. Now we'll do work with percents. You cannot solve a mathematical equation with a percent. It must first be changed into a decimal or a fraction. Then you can perform the mathematical operation. Let's look at a couple of examples. Find 80% of 225. I can't work with 80%. I change it to a decimal by dropping the percent sign and moving the decimal point 2 places to the right. So I have 0.80 times 225, which is 180. So 80% of 225 is 180. Let's look at the second example. I want to find the value of 5,280 divided by 75%. Since I can't use 75%, I have to change it to a decimal by, again, dropping the percent symbol and moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. So then I divide 5,280 by 0.75 and I get 7,040. Now let's do two practical problems using percents. Your new car costs $22,500. The state sales tax is 8%. How much will you pay in sales tax, and what is the total cost of the car? Well, the solution is 8% of 22,500 equals the amount of the tax. I can't multiply using 80%, so I change it to a decimal, which is 0.08, and I multiply that times 22,500, and I get $1,800. So you pay $1,800 in sales tax. The total cost of the car is the price of the car, $22,500, plus the $1,800 in sales tax. So your total cost is $24,300. In the second example, your uncle paid 8% sales tax on his new car. The tax was $3,800. How much did he pay for the car? Well, let's set up the equation. Let C be the cost of the car. So the equation would be 8% times the cost of the car would equal $3,800. I change the percent to a decimal of 0.08 times C equals 3,800. I want to solve for C, so I divide both sides of the equation by 0.08. And 3,800 divided by 0.08 is $47,500. The cost of the car was $47,500.